Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16, episode 3. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Thank you. Please support by liking this video. You can share it. Leave your comments below, and if you are new to this channel, welcome. Go on and hit that subscribe button. And we can go on and get into this episode. Okay, so I don't even remember the order, so I'm just going to go through probably each person. I think that most of the newbies are eating, and they're giving story from all aspects. You know, there's drama and all that good stuff. I'm probably going to be saying something in the next few weeks. I already have the thought in my head, but I think it kind of needs to be said. You know, we may have thought that Rowan needed to go in one direction, but possibly it didn't need to go. And I'll let you know in a couple weeks, but I'm just going to let it marinate in my head. And hopefully you guys agree. But if you don't, oh well, you know. Did we start off with, let's just start off with Shamia. Shamia is dealing with things concerning both of her daughters. She does talk first with her mom. Her mom is beautiful. I forgot what her name is. She talks about, you know, the strain it is on her. Also, wanting to continue her family. She already just had the ectopic pregnancy, so she's still wanting to continue on. She's wanting to make sure that the surrogate is good and all that. And someone, I'll just say this online, I forgot who it was. Somebody had made a post like, this is typical within the African family, that the husband will keep pressing on the wife to have more children because he wants a son. He'll love his daughters or whatever, but he wants a son. And I know that what's up and as far as them wanting to carry on the family name. But it doesn't matter what the wife goes through. Like Shamia said, you know, what if something happens? She said that she's been doing all this estrogen and all that, putting her body through all this stuff. I could have a stroke. She said that she would bring all this stuff to her husband, and he would be like, well, we'll travel that road when we get there. When we get there, it will be too late, sir. There is no guarantee that she's going to make it, if she even delivers a baby, if she's going to make it out of it. Like, that's how risky pregnancy is. It's like you've had the gift. You have the gift of children already. The oldest one has to have some surgery. I think it's more minor and all that. They talk about the youngest. I think that one is Shia. You know, Shia is one of the most happiest babies. You know, she's going through a lot with her body, but at the same time, she always has a smile on her face. And I think that's a reflection of Shamia. I think that's how Shamia is. Shamia says that, you know, even though she's going through things or goes through things, she does press down her feelings to make sure the next person is good. That could be good and that could be bad. Everything shouldn't revolve around you, but I think that you should have space and time to get out all that you need to get out of the whole situation. I think in the way, as far as how Gerald is treating her, as far as children is concerned, that's selfish. I'm not going to say, because you don't know what's going to happen with your wife. And I don't think that you have your best interest in your wife in that way, instead of you just trying to carry on your family name. Or whatever is the tradition with African men regarding that. You know, that's crazy. Yeah, Shamia's giving it to us, and I appreciate that. Britt has hired a chef and has asked for the in-laws to come over. This is Mike's family. We mostly have conversation, I guess, Britt's sister-in-law, Mike. They talk about children. And now he's on board all of a sudden and saying, you know, I forgot what the word he used, but it's like now, okay, we're ready to have children. Which in the last episode or the episode beforehand, allegedly we're ready for children. Okay? So then she said, well, we got to get through the ceremony first, because we know that they had a marriage over Zoom back when it was COVID. Okay. They talk about how are things going with the ladies or whatever. So everyone's cool, you know. We had a little mishap with Kenya. Like, one of y'all is so crazy because, you know, the previews for next week, we'll get on that in just a second, ended up saying, I love it when the girls don't let Kenya bully her. How did she get bullied? Because she's asking questions based upon the information that was given. You can't be shady with someone if you have clear communication at what you're saying. And it's interesting that Britt is a seller. She's a sales lady. She sells insurance. So if you don't know how to be clear because you were too busy trying to boast, I have a second ring, that was you. You did that earlier. This wasn't your first time saying second ring. So someone is trying to get clarification, now they're being shady. No. We find out that Britt dated Rick Ross. She's like, that was in the past, you know. Then she starts talking about that she was a video vixen back in high school. That don't sound cute. That don't sound like a flex. We know the lifestyle of a video vixen, ma'am, and you don't even know that you've been groomed. You don't even know that you've been predatorized. So it's like, in a couple of episodes, we already seen in the preview that you're crying over what Kenya did, but you are boasting what you were doing as a video vixen. That don't mix together. And now you said, I gotta tell my mom. Ma'am, you can't tell me that your mom don't know what you've been doing as a video vixen. We know how exploitive it is, how misogynistic it is, how sexualized you are in that field. So I was like, oh, okay. It looks like you've come over to Bravo to kind of rebrand yourself, but there's residue of that old lifestyle that you're still hanging on to. Y'all can take it for whatever you want. I am Team Twirl. Call me a hater. Don't care. I'm going by facts and what I'm seeing. Y'all can agree with it or not. Because you proud to be that. But then, oh my God, when somebody talks about it, at least Nene could say, I was a stripper and I liked it. You know, people would throw that back in our face. So, yeah, ma'am. No, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Sorry. So the sister-in-law, Britt asked the sister-in-law to go downstairs to the cellar so they can get some wine. I really feel like there is no fabulosity about Britt because in some type of way she's got to boast something. It's kind of like Marlo. You're boasting stuff, but you don't even got it. Not for real. Like, okay, thank you. But no. They go downstairs and they're talking about Mike, and you know, Mike just makes everything a joke. That's just who he is. If you gotta keep on explaining your husband and your man, I don't know. I just find it weird. And then all of a sudden the conversation jumps to her father. You know, she sells insurance. Her father told her about being a businesswoman and all that. Her father passed away. He had a huge life insurance policy, but he was in transition of getting a new job, and he was not, or the family was not allotted the life insurance. So he passed away. So the mom didn't get it, basically. So we could speculate and all that good stuff. This sounds like he was fired and he didn't have no life insurance at this point. It had lapsed and did not carry over to his new job, if he was going to another job. So now she's taking on the burden of being a seller of life insurance so that families could be covered. I said, okay. She had this business with her sister. Her sisters. I looked at that family album and I was like, well, how come nobody look alike? Am I tripping? Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. And y'all can put it in the comments, you tripping. They didn't look alike. Like nothing. But whatever. She talked about the eldest sister and the middle sister. And I guess she's the youngest since how she planned everything out. Basically, they didn't get along. One didn't like to be bossed around by her. The other one got fired. But then she said when she sold the business, everything went crazy. But that don't make sense. If selling the business was a problem, but they didn't want to work for you as a problem? Is it something about money? And when you sold the business, that they feel like they weren't treated fairly? Because if they didn't want to work around you and one quit, the other one got fired, then what's up? You're not giving us complete story. So you're not giving fabulosity to me, and you're not giving complete stories that really help me to understand you. And the sister-in-law, you all about family, and we got to work on it. Yeah, families fight, but your sisters don't want anything to do with you. Interesting. That's interesting to me. I'm just taking note. Y'all do with it as you want. Drew is in the studio. Cynthia, Angela, and Kenya comes by. They listen to the music and all that good stuff. I'm actually, in the next week, I'm going to be doing an album review. So stay tuned to this channel, Music That Matters. I'm doing a single review too, which will be out in the next couple of days. But stay tuned for these housewives that are just releasing singles. So she's in the studio, blah, 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 blah. Cynthia and Angela are there. Kenya comes also, as I said. I think they talk about Portia and Dennis at this point. Kenya gets on Drew, all in love, and just says, hey, a lot of this isn't really adding up. Or not so much adding up. How it looks wrong as to how you presented stuff. Drew swears that she tried to communicate with Portia. Because Cynthia said, baby daddies is something different. If you need to really have clear understanding and clear communication if something goes on. Now, Cynthia talks about when Kenya wanted Leon, her baby daddy, in her pilot for Life Throws On. I actually liked the pilot. And for whatever reason, it didn't work. Nobody bought it at the time. I think people would buy it now and probably put it on a different network and just give you like 8 episodes, because that's what they're doing to a lot of black shows, if you notice. But anyways, Cynthia said that Kenya came to me and made sure that she got my blessing before proceeding on with anything with Leon. And she said, I tried. I said, with all these questions, they're making you look like you are a whore. It's like, it looks messy, Drew. Do I really care? Because of who it is? No. Does it look messy? Do you look crazy because you always trying to look like the innocent person but looking like a space cadet? It's just like you do certain things that make you look manipulative and a liar all the time. They talk a little bit about Shamia, a little bit, just Angela and all that, just try to see where they go from there and to kind of review what happened in the last episode. Let's go to Portia. Portia is stressed. She said the only time that she's really not stressed is if she's getting a massage or something to that nature. So she's around her mama Diane. And beforehand, Portia talks with Kelly. They kind of bury the hatchet and talk about, you're confronting me about stuff, and Shamia said that you were like this when you wanted to talk about me and what's going on with me. And Kelly was like, no, I wasn't really like that. I just had some questions about everything. So we see in the confessional that Portia feels betrayed because it's like Shamia gave this different impression about what Kelly was saying. And then when she get over to Mama Diane, she is saying, well, when I talked to Kelly, this is what she was saying and how she was presenting the whole situation about what's going on with me. And Shamia set it up at her place for this girl to ambush me. I said, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Because Shamia said, well, you need to talk to Portia. Duh. And you're on a reality show that you signed up for, so you're going to be questioned. And Kenya's the one that started up the conversation again, and then she was able to come right back at you. Kelly was, Portia. So that's so crazy. So she feels like Shamia set it up for her to get ambushed by one person. That is so crazy. So when people try to, I said this, when people are trying to say that the fans are trying to break up this relationship, the TV show is trying to break up this relationship, no. We see Portia for her works. However y'all want to keep protecting perfect Portia, that's your business. But don't play with us like we don't know what's going on. Stop playing in our faces. She is who she is, and she's not going to change. She's trifling. And the breakup and the breakdown of this relationship is going to be solely on Portia. Now check that. And Diane was agreeing with that. You know, she should have. What are you talking about? Shamia protected you as much as possible. She also knows she's on this show. Could she have just shut it down and said, no, we're not talking about it? Yeah, she could have. You have no clue what the producers wanted out right then and there. And as much as she wants to shut stuff down, it was still to a minimum. And then she was still your dog towards Drew. So shut up. That is so crazy. She's all don't understand about Simon. You know, Simon don't even want to work through anything. How it is with in Africa. In America, you try to have some type of mediation, and then you try to go to the tribe to see if they will try to help. And they said nope, they don't want anything. They want their hands off of it. Y'all work it out. So she feels lonely, and she just doesn't know that Simon. But he just did this to his last wife. We watched it. You watched it, and you said, "Yeah, I'll marry you." I'm so blessed. So there's no compassion over here. Y'all can have it all you want to. First, y'all was so amazed at the 3 weddings and all this stuff, and now look at her. I don't care. I don't care. Miss Diane, you are a piece of work, and I believe that Portia is a product of you. Who's next? Angela and Charles. Angela and Charles, y'all are so interesting. I'm a little bit shaky and afraid for them. They've been in therapy really since the beginning of their marriage. Not that that's a bad thing per se, but it's like, y'all need therapy to do all this. Are y'all supposed to be together? Because y'all built a different picture a couple of episodes ago about who Charles is, and he's made for you. She talks about sometime during the episode as to how she kept up with Charles when they had 2 apartments in the same complex. She would just be friends with the concierge to kind of keep up with Charles. Hey, well, so what's Charles got going on? In a way to find a way in to Charles and all that good stuff. Things happened when he got ejected from, was it a Knicks game? Madison Square Gardens. It put a strain on their relationship at the time, all that good stuff. She wants to get a vow renewal, but Charles hangs it over her head that she bought all these properties, and she needs to concentrate on that before they could actually do the vow renewal. So, okay. So it sounds like he don't like you being independent, in my opinion. It feels very Latrice and Cliff from Bell Collective. To me. You know, it's weird. I'm seeing this contrast. I'm seeing this husband that cooks and cleans, and she's boss, but then at the same time, I'm seeing this, I really don't want you to be boss type of way of operating. I don't know. It's just a mixture of a good relationship and toxic relationship at the same time as they start talking about the relationship more. So are we just getting a representative and now we're seeing the real stuff, or what? I'm not going to say that Angela's lying, but it's just like, okay. Kelly is having an event. She's doing what a housewife should do. She's another one that's giving everything. She's having this event for a foundation. It's for charity. It's for brittle bones or something of that nature. She found out that 3 of her daughters have this syndrome. And I wonder if it's the 3 girls that are through her husband. So that could be through, or whatever. It kind of just one of her daughter's arms or something was folded in such a way. She went to the hospital trying to figure out what was going on. DCFS was also brought in, thinking that possibly this child has been abused. It wasn't until the doctors were able to diagnose that, okay, no, she got this deficiency going on. This has nothing to do with abuse. They were about to take her child. I said, Lord. I kind of feel like that was profiling. I do like that DCFS was on it, because some of that stuff does happen or whatever, but it's just like, lay off, especially for a parent that's not even understanding what's going on with their child. Like, ugh. So while there, I guess Drew and Portia were supposed to have a conversation, but Portia don't want to have it. Like, okay. We're going to play this game. Angela tries to give an olive branch to Shamia. Shamia's not really taking it. They trade insults with each other. They want to talk about the nose. They feel like it's the Jackson family nose, after being famous, that they got corrected. She calls Angela Drew's assistant, and then she said, well, Shamia, you are her assistant. They just go tit for tat, and you're Portia's hype man, Flavor Flav. Now, people have been saying for weeks that this is a colorist statement. Y'all went to that way in regards to that, but it was fun little shade. I don't understand why Shamia won't give her the time of day. I mean, you just met her. Let's see what's up. Let's see if y'all can rectify this. I think it's too fast. Kenya and Britt, they had a good greeting. Kenya was like, hey, Barbie. They actually hugged and all that. So where is the problem coming in at, Britt? Because you did say at the dinner with your in-laws that we're fine as long as she knows how to behave herself. Right, Mike? And then Mike stayed about that. Like, you crazy. Yeah. So next week, things heat up between Kenya and Britt out of nowhere again. Britt was coached preseason. You can't tell me any other thing. So if y'all are Team Britt, that's on you. Because this is all a Britt issue for no reason. Anyways, that's all I have. Thank you for coming. Like, subscribe, share. And until the next one, peace.